Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about a couple of books that I have reread recently, The Tools and Coming Alive by Phil Stutz and Barry Michels. Both of these books focus on part of the human condition which they label Part X. I actually think they should have called the second book Part X because it's a much better title. But anyway, the term Part X was coined by Phil Stutz, a psychiatrist from New York. For a quick introduction to him, watch the documentary Stutz, which is currently on Netflix. So, Part X is a term that describes the part of you that self-sabotages. It is called Part X for two reasons. Number one, because it X's out your potential, and number two, because it is only a part of you. There are many other parts to you too. Part X could also be thought of as your victim parasite, your dark side, your inner critic, your pain body, etc. Some people even think of Part X as the devil, and that giving into Part X is satanic. It doesn't really matter what you label Part X as. What is important, though, is that you are aware that it exists and what it is. Part X is an invisible force that keeps you from changing. Here are some examples of the types of behaviour that Part X is responsible for. Okay, number one, a voice that tells you that there is no point in trying to reach your goals because it will never work anyway. Number two, a part of you that starts arguments and fights with people you love. Number three, the tendency you sometimes have to waste time instead of being productive. Number four, using alcohol and drugs at inappropriate times. Number five, eating foods which are not good for you, even though you know you shouldn't, etc. Okay. So, Part X is constantly trying to keep us from reaching our potential. It can be more active at certain periods of your life, or at certain times of the day, or it can be more active in certain people rather than others. But it is part of the human condition that always seems to be lurking in the background there for some reason. So, why would there be a part of the human condition which is actively trying to thwart our potential? It doesn't really make sense, does it? Some people theorize that Part X is deliberately trying to keep our lives small because it is trying to keep our lives safe. Others see Part X as a challenge from God because without it, we would not be motivated to have the free will to choose the correct path in the face of temptation. Some see Part X as a manifestation of childhood trauma as a coping mechanism. There are many ways to think about it, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. What matters, in terms of your life, is how you deal with Part X on a day-to-day basis. Are you fighting back against it, or are you just letting it run your life? And how do you fight back against it? Phil Stutz and Barry Michels wrote the two books, The Tools and Coming Alive, to give their readers tools to fight back against Part X. I have read both these books more than once and they are brilliant. I highly recommend them. There are 10 different tools to use in different situations in your life to fight back against these different situations where Part X tries to sabotage you. These tools are designed to be used in the moment when you have an internal struggle with Part X and you need something to help you move forward. Each of these tools only takes about 10 seconds to use, so they are not a big time investment to add them to your life. And when you use them, they actually give you more energy. They don't actually take away energy, even though when you actually use them in the moment, you have to use a little bit of energy to use them. So I will go into more depth of the details of these various tools in a future video, but for now, the takeaway from this video is that if you are currently having a problem in your life, especially one around self-sabotage and victimhood, just be aware that there is a part of you that is actively trying to sabotage you. it is up to you to use your own free will to fight back against Part X. And if you make the choice to fight back against Part X, the authors of these books, predict that your life force will grow as a result, and whatever challenges you are facing in your life won't seem as daunting. And they can say this with confidence because they have about 70 years experience between them, and they've used these tools on their patients, including lots of famous Hollywood celebrities, because they're based in Los Angeles, where so you just happen to have lots of famous patients. But I would definitely recommend giving both these books a chance, and don't be put off by the fact that the initial marketing around them seems a bit American. It seems a bit new agey and like fluffy, because it's not really. I've listened to a lot of the podcasts by Phil Stutz, and he's actually a very sort of down-to-earth, practical guy. So both books are very easy to read, and they offer very practical advice for normal people. There is a strong emphasis on discipline, work ethic, and willpower, all the types of values that more masculine self-improvement teachers like Andrew Tate or Gary Vee or whatever, all the same sort of things that they teach. And it might not resonate with you, but I think you can probably listen to them on Spotify for free. So I would give these books a chance, and I'll make another video like going into more details with them, and whether, because I use these tools. I first read the book The Tools in 2016, and I used them for a bit, but then I got some results from using it, but then I stopped using it, and then I reread the book about a year ago, and I started using them again. And they actually say in the books that all their patients who they gave these tools, all their patients initially used the tools, their lives changed, and then after a period of time they stopped using the tools. And that is again a manifestation of Part X self-sabotaging you, because there seems to be something in the human condition where it's like, even though you know something is good for you, there is a part of you that will like self-sabotage. And I can definitely see this in my life. It's like, say like about a year ago I gave up alcohol for 6 months, but then after 6 months I just started drinking again, because I thought some part of you is like, oh, I'm fine, I've beaten that problem now. And that is like the self-sabotager who's like sneaking in, because the Part X, or whatever you want to call it, it can be quite sneaky. So yeah, definitely give these 2 books a listen, and that's it. That's the end of the video, so catch you later.